I'm mistaken. I did do it. That's why
Now
I
we're
did because I
live.
like to get myself done a couple days early, then look back at it. Then
That's what my wife's doing. Yeah. She said we got stuff due.
It's due on the 1st, actually.
Okay, good.
Right, that's what I said I was walking.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's good. You believe it's already going to be next month? Anybody else get paid once a month?
Huh?
You got anybody get paid once a month?
For what?
Student loans or federal work study?
Work study, yeah, I get paid every 2 weeks. Not
Mhm.
2 weeks.
You started already?
Hello.
I'm gonna put our own week on.
So, process is gonna be.
Does federal work study once a month too?
Oh, no. They don't know what it is.
All you
I
want
did.
to
I was
Miss
I
Watson.
was good. I just wait.
Yeah, I said,
What's the maximum you can get?
It said like if you don't.
7,000?
No.
6,000 or 7,000?
They don't, it will never show up when I have it. It's like 0.
Financial aid, all types of.
When I got it, they had a cap. Like if you made 7,000 federal work study, they cut you off.
2 weeks.
Well, I was living in a bigger state, after 40 hours.
40 times 850 an hour or something.
It was
That's good. That's good. That's better than what it used to be. I got like 750. Mm-hmm. Well, here's what we watched about Friday, and it was like Death and Dying, and it was kind of weird. What did you guys think? It was a little different.
Friday.
Yeah, we showed it on Friday. It was let me see here. Of course, if I want to try to find it, maybe I played it on Safari. That would be nice. And there's no Safari down there. So if you guys are interested, it was about like funerals and how they run them. Isn't that like a normal thing on a Macintosh to have Safari? There it is. I don't know why it's not popping up. But it showed kind of, it was interesting. The dude always wanted to be a funeral caretaker at the age of 3 and did funerals for like birds and squirrels. Was that weird to you? So maybe some people are just made for death and loss and grief, and some people aren't as good with it. Oh, that's the heroin movie. That's another heroin movie. How many heroin movies are they going to make? So if you do want to watch that, you can go back to the YouTube live of that day, which is Friday. And I was showing that as an intro to this group. So this is another group I found. I hope to send it out over announcements to you guys. This is for the grief recovery method.
What is that?
When you run your own group, it's any time in September. Like you pick a date.
So that's what you've been sending on announcements. You're sending groups.
Different groups that you would want to run. So one of them is the Girls Circle. You could find your own online, but I'm also trying to produce material for you guys.
I like that.
Yes.
Can you find like a men's group? You think you can?
I don't.
That's
So
what I just observed today, and I really like the men's group.
if you did find one thing in relation to your observation today, the one that I ran at Hope Center Recovery Center, it was called Recovery Dynamics. And that was run in a way that it's like a 10-week group, and obviously you guys just lead one of it, and what it looks like for them to go through the 12 steps and be accountable. Last time I looked it up, I could get it from a library somewhere. So it's called Recovery Dynamics, if that's what you want to look up. And I asked for a copy of it when I led that group, and they said we had to pay $10,000 to get access to this. That's why I said it's so hard to find a group that is turnkey for you. Like it would be like teaching a class that's already ready to go. And if you are good at making groups, you can make a killing on selling your group material. Like if you decide to just come out and make groups that will help, like this one, the Grief Recovery Method, it's a moneymaker. I know people that, and see, they got their little trademark after it. That's why how you know it's going to be hard to just Google it and find it, because they sell that for thousands of dollars if it's either copyrighted or I'll search for you. Recovery Dynamics. Group guide. I had to buy it from a library in Tennessee somewhere. Hey, they have a website now. Become a Recovery Dynamics facility. They probably charge.
You say you think they charge?
I'm sure. I mean, that's how they make their money. So everybody copyrights something. I had it as an intern in 2001 in a binder, but I said, can I get a copy of that? They're like $10,000. $10,000. So, and that was the facility we used for the homeless shelter in Lexington, Kentucky, and men that were coming off heroin, alcohol, and pain pills. I guess these are the dudes that own it. What if it's free now? I'm gonna it's gonna blow my mind. Hey, there you go. That's not as bad. But I guess if you bought all of them, it'll end up being $1,000. There it is. Ooh. $475.
Oh yeah, that's
So if you all get good at creating this stuff, you can sell it. And it's a pretty well made group to be led. I didn't know those dudes owned it. Understand addiction, reduce substance use, improve physical and psychological health, focus on relationship success, and then employment success. Let's see. If they put it online. Somebody might have mistakenly just like uploaded it to the internet, and then that's when you got to jump on it. So this dude made it in Little Rock, Arkansas. Joe devoted himself to helping others discover the joy of recovery through the program found in the original 12 steps. Oh, dang. So it's that old. 1972, he created Recovery Dynamics. Crazy though, isn't it? So if you're interested in leading a recovery group like that, that's what it would look like. Oh. I didn't realize he was the Joe of Joe and Charlie. Dude sells massive amounts of CDs. See, I'd never seen a picture of him either. And I know Joe and Charlie, like you always just see the CDs. And I had no clue. I just connected that Recovery Dynamics, Joe and Charlie, because I've worked at recovery centers before, and all of them connect. I feel like he died. Crazy. Let's see if they give you the resources here. If not, I'll show you the ones that I do have. He must be in Tennessee. Free alcohol assessment. This is always fun. So would you want to do the alcohol assessment for yourself or someone you care about?
I want to do myself.
Do you? It's probably similar. Let's see. Let's go back. We'll do both. We'll do self first. So I'll just act like it's me. I'm about 50. How many drinks a week do you have?
Whoa.
I haven't drank since I was a sophomore in college, so
Really?
I did have a problem. Yeah, I had like a 0.5 GPA. It was clear.
Dang, you had a what GPA?
0.5. I'd be like,
Well, listen, look at you here now.
it says 99% drink
Harvard.
more than 99% of your peers. That sounds right. Just that I drank every day, all the time. So let's say here, what would you all want to say? It's a parent, child, or somebody else?
Partner.
Yeah, partner.
That's a good one, is then you can go into Al-Anon. What is your loved one's sex? I like that one. How old is your loved one?
Say 21
20 to
35.
35.
That's a good age. And then how many days a week does your loved one have an alcohol drink?
Say 4.
4, that's good. That's like right at
median.
half. Interesting too, because it is more than the weekends. And then how many drinks does your loved one have?
Let's say 4 or 5.
Which one?
Let's go 5.
5? And then in the past month, how many times have your loved one had 4 or more drinks on one occasion?
Yeah. Like when you go out?
30 days, yeah.
All the
Say 4.
time.
So in 30 days,
That's all the time.
you got 8 weekend days to do that, right? So
Right, but they're talking about at one time. It's like one occasion when you go out and drink. How many drinks do you have? I'm thinking at least 4 or 5. Nobody goes to the bar and just drinks one drink.
So then in a month, how many times do you think your loved one would have more than 4 with 8 weekend days out there? 6, 7, or 8?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
8? Okay. Like I just drink on the weekends. Still put you at 91%. I know, right? Loved one drinking is significantly above safe limits. It's likely they're drinking already causing them at least some of the following problems: sleeping, anxiety, and it is a lot of calories though too. Is that would be? I think each drink is about 150 if you drink a normal drink, and you get the beer belly. That's kind of what.
Yes, that's why you gotta drink tequila.
I know that's what everybody been drinking them high
Right,
noons.
nothing with it.
You not staying in the gym or nothing, you definitely catch on to you.
And then it says, click here for more information or guidelines released by the Canadian Center of Substance Abuse. Interesting. And it gives you, that's interesting. So 20 drinks a week, that is like 2,000 or 3,000 extra calories every week. Maximum binge drinking days, they give you 0 binge drinking days out of all those days. Maximum weekly drinks is 7. Their binge drinking days are 8. So they consider binge drinking more than 4. Okay. So there's information. That's where you would get some info about recovery dynamics if you are like digging in and looking at co-occurring disorders and things that show up. Joe and Charlie. What is recovery dynamics step 5? You're ready to admit your wrongs to yourself in prayer if you choose and to someone close to you. Ready to make a commitment to recovery in full. So yeah, if that's good info for you to lead your group, if you want to do it on a recovery situation, that's the one that I've tried to get this info forever, and they all want to charge me $10,000 because they think you're opening a treatment center and you're about to make $100,000 a year.
Okay, yeah. And I'm like, that's
It's a lot. And I'm sad that in 2001 I didn't have like an easy scanner that would allow me to just scan it in and save it. Oh yeah, Perdomo's had a girl. Did you guys know that? The chair of our department, Dr. Perdomo, and his secretary is Sarah Perdomo.
they're having a girl.
They just had her a week and like a few days ago.
Oh, that's cute.
So he said,
Yeah,
I got a cigar for
cigar.
you. He gave me a Phillies blunt. And I'm like, that's not a Phillies, that's El Bubble. I got to give it to my wife. All right. So the grief recovery method is more, this is a whole guide. And if you wanted to do that as one of your groups, you could pick one of the days you want to lead. It's kind of big. I'm going to shrink it. There we go. And it shows you how to like start to finish over 8 weeks. It's an 8-week group. Like I said, most groups are 8, 10, or 12 weeks. You would only have to lead one of them. And it shows you exactly what to do. And you can do a grief calendar. Like some people go through their life history and see where they had grieved before. So here's this one. And does this just let you like type whatever you want?
You ever said you just click in when somebody's tired of them?
They probably make me give them the email, but it sounds like, yeah, you just type in here.
That's kind of weird.
And so after you go through what your grief could be on grief recovery method, some people it's like a divorce, some people it's a loss of a loved one, or even a dog or a cat. Hey, do they really give you a free copy? No. They're going to make me give them an email again. How much you want to bet? I'm clicking on it. I'll give them do you think they email it to you or?
And for those who don't know me, I'm president of the Grief Recovery Institute. For over 40 years, we've been helping people with grief and loss. Unfortunately, society doesn't really equip us with many tools around grief. And the sad reality is we all have many, many different losses in our life. This book, the Grief Recovery Handbook, was written by my father over 40 years ago. We're really proud of the fact that it is in 22 languages and we have sold over 1 million copies of this book. We want you to be able to utilize all of the tools and methods in this book to help you heal your heart from unresolved grief from the past. This could be a loss that occurred weeks ago. It could be a loss that occurred years and years ago. We want to make it as easy for you to get this book as we can. So what we're doing is we're going to offer this book to you today, free of charge. That's right. All you need to do is cover the cost of shipping it to you, and you will get a copy of the Grief Recovery Handbook. So for $7.95, we will ship out a copy of that book to you. The contents in this book, we want everyone to have. There are over 40 different life events that you can experience that are grief, that you can work through using this book. So please take action right now and get yourself a copy of this book. We'll ship it out ASAP. You'll be getting it in the next couple of days. And please start on the road to healing your heart from what is unfinished from your past. Thank you.
So it knows I'm putting a fake email. I'll put on my old UC one. Maybe it bounces and they like send it and know within seconds.
You know it's not there.
Do I have to have so you have to send an active email. But that's one, obviously I thought it was free and it says for only $7.95. So they always give you the free isn't always free, but that's one route on the grief recovery method. Sometimes you can find them online. I understand people want to make stuff off their stuff. So, but I'm able to at least give you guys this. Oh, Philadelphia courts? Is it bad in Philadelphia or something? So this one goes over like the stages of grief. There's usually a few more than those. That says shock and denial, sense of reality, and then adjustment. That one kind of shortens it. But if you were to lead this group, the next piece could be that you have the person then articulate their grief. So they write it out. Week 1, they give you the homework to read 6 chapters, which is a good, you're moving fast. Yeah, I think you're moving fast through grief. So that's the idea. You're going to get through it. Because week 2 is when you start sharing your grief. There's STREBS, and I forget what it stands for, but what do you guys usually do if you're stressed out or like have grief in your life? Like on a loss, what is your typical coping behavior?
I like to set myself off from morale.
Doing what?
I like to set myself off from morale.
Right.
I really
Yeah,
do.
like see if you can turn off your phone or. And then here's an example of a calendar. So like they've got dad died, mom's B-day. This is what, if you ran the group, how many people have different dates. And that was the month of September. Football games without dad. And that's when you start noticing it. Like you have grief because you're like, God, I don't have holidays with my loved one. Excuse me. Son's B-day without grandpa. So they have you do the calendar. And then in week one, just kind of going through like comments about the stages of grief that you go through until acceptance. So sometimes you're shocked, and then you work through 4 stages and have acceptance at the end. There's also myths and beliefs about grief. Like, what have you guys heard about grief before? If you were to say, what did you hear or experience during your growing up in light of losses you experienced in your life? Like, what would your family say? How to deal with grief, how to handle it, how to just get over it, move on, go.
Feel your emotions.
I think I'm still dealing with a lot.
I'd say
It's like lifelong, it is not.
it is.
And people
It
think
is.
it is not getting
Like,
figured
it's
out.
not a timetable of grief.
And I think that's why they do this. Yeah.
It's something that you gotta be able to.
There's like always days that are triggered.
Yeah, it's gonna be things that's gonna trigger you.
It's gonna be a conscious stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing goes away when you truly got emotions.
So they have you do those first 2 weeks and then like identify what it was. For more than 50% of us, divorce is a factor, whether we remember it or not. Like if our parents split before we were too old to remember, or if they split, later on in life. Then notes on intellect or spiritual comments that did not help you. Which I remember I supervise at hospice, and it's one of my supervisees who leads this group, and they were saying one of the chaplains had said stuff like somebody had 1 or 2 babies, but then they had a miscarriage, and they told the people like, well, you just need to be grateful for God that you've got.
Yes, that is terrible to say to someone.
Like, what, dude? Like, I had 2 miscarriages. Yes, we have 3 kids, but you have a loss, and it's sad. There's another one, like, it was just a little shocking, but it was like, that was God's plan. You just need to be okay. And so those are some of the statements that they talk about that sometimes make it worse rather than better. Like, dude.
Because then it has you question God, and you're going to move on to a deeper problem when you say something like that.
Right. So those are some of, spiritual comments that did not help you, notes on approval, notes on who is responsible. And then it goes through, okay, here's the strip. So homework assignment is, which one of these will you do if you're stressed from a loss? Like, there's a whole large list. You could do all of them.
Probably all of them.
I guess the sex one would be hard without a partner, although you could do that alone too. So I guess all of those you could do by yourself. Exercise, smoking, alcohol, food, technology, internet, social media, gaming, shopping. You do need some money. Workaholism, that can get you some money.
But some people really do work
Mhm.
because they don't want to go home.
True. Any others that you guys would think for like dealing with grief that could come up?
I think somebody said isolation.
Oh yeah, for sure. So they're STREB stand for, I found it here, short-term energy relievers. Behaviors, short-term energy relieving behaviors. I guess volunteering. That would be really weird, but that could maybe be a positive one. Like you just go out in your community and just help others because, and I've seen people do that.
You see it a lot of children, like moms who lost their kids. A lot of them will come back and like sit with kids that are in there by themselves or by their parents are gone. Like they work with the Ronald McDonald House.
At Children's Hospital? Oh, is that where you're at, Ronald McDonald House? Okay.
Well, I'm not there with my daughter all the time, but they have so many like volunteers that are parents that like have kids that live there.
That would
It's that, but they like find relief in
right, yeah, like
sharing
the
their
service to
story
others.
and stuff like that.
Some of them, if their kids died, they're like, well, at least his eyeballs got used. And
Yeah,
his,
like
that's what my
donate
neighbor
their-
said. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
like donate their organs.
he lost a 7-year-old. He's like, I
Oh.
want to go meet the kid his eyeballs are with now. And I'm like, oh my God, that just sounds
Like when you
horrible.
say it like that. it's
Yeah.
awful.
Like all of his stuff got donated, his heart, his liver, his
And I get
kidneys.
that part of it. Like, oh, you have to. I don't know if I would want to do that.
Oh, when he said that, I was just like, oh my God, I just can't.
Cause
And
it's like, are you looking at your kids? Like your kids' eyes when they look at you.
I know, right? Yeah. I wonder if they would be the same color.
They would, yeah. they would
Holy
be the same.
shit.
So it's like looking at your kids' eyes, that would be weird. And a different
Yeah.
body, that would be awkward.
Well, it's almost like that movie where they harvest people's organs to stay alive. The what was that called? It was like Get Out. I feel like that was the same, right? It's like a different kind of horror movie. Like,
It was funny. It was more funny.
true. I think it was supposed to be a little funny.
Yeah.
Don't they like keep him in the basement? They're about to take his brain to some other dude who had brain cancer. I don't
That is
know.
awful.
It was weird. It was different,
Then
you
it's
know.
kind
it
of
was-
like that person who can't be the same person who picked their brain to be that's my brain. It's gonna be me.
Right. Right.
That's weird. It would not be the same person.
Yeah. We were even talking last night as my sister was like shocked because our kids do have like Isabel has blue eyes and both my wife and I are hazel. So it's like, but genetically somewhere there's
Yeah, I
like,
know, there's blue eyes.
yeah,
That's like my kids, my little two are blonde.
yeah, yeah.
Blonde.
Straight up blonde.
Blonde. And my daughter, the little one, has like hazel eyes. I
Like
don't know where they come from. Yeah, they-
that is funny that she's pushing him. I'm like, when I look away, she'll be like, wham! She's like being all cute, and then you look away and they got on the head. Like and now he's used to it, he doesn't even cry. I'm like, that's kind of funny. He's just lounging with the cat staring at him. So yeah, as we were like, how in the hell does he have I guess his are more gray too, but anyway. So those are some of the strebs. Then week 3, you're almost halfway done, but you do the grief timeline. That's another one you could lead. The bees are hungry, man. I feel kind of sad for them, but they're scared. I'm allergic to them too.
I'm
So
allergic
if
to
they
them, too.
sting me, I get messed up. But all they want is sugar and water. That's all they want. They're like making their honeycomb, and they just want to. I had beehives for 3 years in a row. This is the first year I haven't had them. So now when the homeless bees come by, I like try to give them sugar. Like, dude, you want a piece of sugar?
These bees are here to chase you.
They're yellow jackets. They might be yellow jackets, and those are annoying. I'm surprised he didn't fly into here because this is like pure sugar with the cashews. He ain't getting none of my cashews.
I'll be knocking them down.
Where'd you go, bro? Is it still flying, or is it because it was like?
Is it bee here?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
There he is.
I'm about to kill him.
I know it's hard because there are food suppliers. They help us pollinate. Right now, we've got one last crop of beans.
Man, I ain't trying to hear it.
It's for real, and I'm allergic to them. Like I could swell up bad. if I
Yeah.
get it.
All right, well, so bad. It's awful.
I still have my bee suit in my office. I should wear that
You have a bee suit?
because I had honeybees. I had chickens and honeybees for a while.
Chicken?
So is their honey different? Like, is the raw honey different from the store honey?
It is, and the problem was I never got them to live past one winter, so they always need the honey. And I would only eat it sometimes, like when I knew that they were all dead.
Right.
But you're supposed to leave them their honey for the first year to survive off of. Then after that, they're supposed to produce enough. And we have so many chemicals on our farms that it like kills them. The corn and the soybeans have that Monsanto spray on it that kills them, which is sad to me. I'm like, I should have given them a cigar. That's some good sugar. So yeah, if any of you want to use any piece of this format, any week or any combination of weeks to lead your group, I think I sent it out Friday.
Okay.
I don't remember. Did anybody see it in announcements on Friday? I can
No,
check. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, there's so many things to get in on here that it's 4202, and then I'm hoping that announcements had grief recovery method. I think that's it. If I click on it, does it download? Or is that something else? Okay, that's it. So if you want to use any sequence of this, you certainly can. If you did weeks 1 and 2, or just like 3, 4, 5, or have us do like a relationship graph or a grief timeline, and then kind of go through it that way. It says, now take your relationship graph and go through one event at a time and assign a recovery component to each. Generally above the line events will be either apologies or significant emotional statements. Like, they make you dig in on this. It's kind of almost like a 12-step process. Above the line events will be apologies. Below the line events will be statements. Dad, when you told me I was the worst player there, I felt embarrassed and sad, and I forgive you for telling me that. Like, if your dad died before you could like talk about like
What the triggers were.
fighting over a basketball game you screwed up in or something. You know what I mean? Like, or remember too of saying, I forgive you for isn't emotionally true for you. That can still address the communication by saying instead, I acknowledge what you did or didn't do by this, and I'm not going to let that hurt me anymore. And that's like here. So that's just like ways of going through. These acknowledgement statements can also go in the forgiveness part of the assignment, and perhaps someday in the future, you'll be able to move from acknowledging these behaviors and actions. So you could have us do the later part, or even just the grief timeline. It looks like it gets pretty deep in like weeks 5, 6, and 7 for real. Dad, I remember how often you played ball with me. I apologize for never telling you how much it meant to me. That would be an apology, and you could actually blend the two components by saying, Dad, when I remember how much time you spent playing ball with me, I felt so special, so important, and so loved. I apologize for not taking the time to tell you how much that meant to me. Like, that's stuff I could do today. Like, my dad had quadruple bypass 2 weeks ago, so he should have been dead. He didn't die, you know. Like, he had 90% blockage on 4 parts. And there's times you're like, damn, I need to tell them that stuff. Like, thank you for putting up with my shit and bailing me out of jail, whatever. Like, when drinking or whatever. And like, you forget to do those statements sometimes. More entries that could be like, pay attention to the length of your lists. If it's too long, it can be too much. And then there's some that are undeliverable communications, like you might not say it to them. So yeah, as you see, like 5, 6, 7, it gets even more detailed. It might be easier to do the beginnings part if you did lead on this one, but you guys have this. This is probably another. I think they make you pay $3,000 to get certified in this one. To get certified in the grief recovery method, it's this one right here. No, maybe I hit on this one. This one right here. And people do, however, run groups and actually make like 2,000 or 3,000 every weekend running these groups or something, which is interesting. They're like, yeah, you get certified. That's what the big deal was. My supervisor said, they'll certify me with this, and even if I left here, I can just open up shop doing my own grief recovery method. It's like, hey, okay. So some people run groups just on the side with their license in social work. Do that.
That's actually nice instead of having a backup job.
Yeah.
That's actually nice.
Right, and especially, I guess, hospices, because a lot of hospices are looking to send people here. They have 180 people on census every week dying, and maybe 5 to 10 die every week, that they're looking for somebody to go through the grief recovery method. So that was good to know. Obviously, I'm not trained in it, but you know, it breaks it down for you how to do a lot of these different statements, and could be somebody that is from the past. they could be dead. And then you write your letter. And, oh, I didn't realize we're only on page 27 and this thing is like 85 pages. So, and then, yeah, it gets even more detail on weeks 1. And if any of you would want to lead grief recovery method group, I sent this to you through announcements. It's kind of the same as Girl Circle. Different type of group that you could lead, but any questions on anything? I can't believe if you really wanted to, you could start leading your groups next week.
Huh?
You could. All Septembers. You'd rather see somebody than
Yeah, I want to
First.
see it first.
Samaj.
Yes.
Tell him to get his stuff together because that incomplete's coming down like a train head on in his train track site. Like, dude, you better lead your group.
Yeah, like, I want to see one.
You guys see Samaj between now and then?
Mhm.
Yeah, you be trouble, man.
Say, dude, we need you to lead group in here on Wednesday or Friday because that's September 1st, isn't it?
Yeah, Friday. That's when our first assignment is.
Right.
Friday.
That's what I was saying. Anytime in September, because we do have quite a bit. We've got Sydney and Adriel online too. And any September and October, and then that way it still leaves you guys a lot of October and November to create your group, and we'll create it together with grants and everything. Somebody came in to ask us about grants today, and I said, I feel like you're always writing them as you're trying to fund your stuff and get money, because you don't want to be doing this crap for free if you're a social worker. A lot of times the agencies do it for you, then they hire you, but if you can get to where you're writing your own grants and then writing your own groups and selling books, you're going to make way more money than I do. And most social workers do. What's that? You'll lead it anytime you pick in September. I know.
Yeah.
You know what?
If you pick September 30th, that's okay. Does that sound good?
We just started.
Isn't that how it always goes though? If you really had to, I don't even know what date September 30th is, but if we dipped into October, there's enough of us. I think there's 9. So here's September, and there's the 30th. So I guess it could go deep into that month.
Wait, so
That's a Saturday.
So it has to be like 29.
Right, but if we went October, that's fine too. Is we have 9, at least 9 in here. So if we did it, I guess we could, but Samaj's got to come in too.
So-
Well, why don't you tell him? Why don't you email him?
I told him today. I was sitting there with him. I'm like, do you want to lead it Wednesday or Friday?
What do you say?
He's coming. He knows he's got to do it, man. You take that incomplete, you're in debt to the debtor for like 6 weeks. And then they put it on your credit record if you don't finish it September 15th, I think. I know. That's why I don't like incompletes. They turn to F so quickly, it's frightening. It's like automatic F.
So is the group our final thing to do?
That's your final active thing to do to like lead a group, but then you're going to create your own group on paper. You can, and you have the outline right at the end of the paper.
So we have to lead a group and then we have to create a group.
Observe a group, lead a group, and then create it. And you can make these two the same things. That's the cool part about
It's
it.
not gonna be hard.
Right.
This one gonna be hard. This one.
Leading it depends on how you are like in front of people. I don't like getting up in front of people and running the show. I had to learn how to as a teacher, obviously. It does help when it's stuff you have experience with because you can like kind of talk freely, but that doesn't always guarantee you're not going to be anxious or don't want to lead class or you're like an entertainer for life. You're there to entertain in a way.
So when we lead a group, we write a paper.
So you could write your paper on the group that you led about the creation of it. So that's where they run together. And if you used Girl Circle, then you would just cite Girl Circle about it. That's okay. That's why we got plenty of time. It's still August. We did just start. But this is the most days I've taught in August in a long time. Didn't it used to be like the 19th and 20th you would start? And now it's the 14th. Yeah. It feels like they added a weekend. Maybe they let us out a week early because of that, do you think? Or you get an extra few days on Thanksgiving break? But yeah, it's at the end of the syllabus. That's what I was trying to open. I know we're out of time, but this is your syllabus, and then it gives you an entire outline at the end of this if you wanted to see it. Did you want to see it?
I couldn't do that.
There's your outline. It says group proposal project final paper. There it is. So this part, first part is the conceptualization. Usually it's like who you're going to serve, how you're going to serve them, how you're going to recruit them.
How long is that one gonna be?
It does say
Long, ain't it?
8 to 15 pages. That's a big range too.
Yeah,
Like,
they can get 10 to 12.
right. Yeah. Yeah. And then it even tells you like abstract, 1 paragraph, overall scope, a few paragraphs, psychosocial concerns or themes. And it's like the range of people, their diagnosis of who the group would serve if they've got trauma or they got loss or they, and like you're just basically documenting every last piece of everything.
So is this one where you create your own group?
Right. And like I said, you're leading your own group, so you can
So
combine
you can
this.
basically combine it and do like 2 assignments in one. So lead your group and then write your paper off of what you led.
That's
And it'll probably be 10 times easier to do it like that than to do something completely different.
right.
Ooh, okay.
Yep.
That makes sense.
I like to streamline it for you guys because if it can be like combined and like the same thing, that's what you do in graduate school. Like always write about the same research topic. Maybe you always pick addiction and recovery or trauma and grief or something. So, and it gives you your outline. I guess part 3, so that would be like 3 to 4 pages on each section pretty much. But then the benefits of group work, the type of group proposed for your proposal. I've allowed people to include funding, so like grants.gov or different grants you would write to, and then you put like a link in. Like I would ask them for $100,000. I would ask them for $200,000. Huh?
You're really just creating a whole grant, like a whole group grant and all that stuff.
You are, but it could just be Girl Circle for Central State University. So the group's already been created, and you cite the hell out of Girl Circle.
Yeah.
'Cause it hasn't been
and
done
You're just
here.
saying you want to create it here on campus.
Right. Yeah.
But you got to fight them really good.
Right. Yes. And that's the way it always is. But that's why they can sell their crap for so much money, because they can make so much money.
So why would you don't want to do girl circle?
You can find anyone on the internet that you want, or you can go with the grief recovery method like this one, or it's your choice. There's grief recovery method. You could run one of them. Sounds exciting? He's like, I'm ready to go. Well, any other questions? She's who emailed it to me.
See you Wednesday.
Gina Graham, yes, see you.
See ya.
D2L. I always get annoyed by D2L. Whew.
Dr. House,
Yes.